This year we're on a mission to decorate for Christmas with just the things we're grabbing from the land itself. And I'm really excited about this. And so I am back here at BeeHaven Farms with Paula. We are going to be doing a self-watering, season-long, fresh garland for decorating on your homestead. If any of you guys have tried bringing greens in from your property, especially evergreens, and decorating with it, you'll know that you might get about a week and then all of a sudden the vacuum comes out and you're vacuuming all the needles.
It's a fire hazard.
It is.
No
And
candles.
I have a couch that still has a collection of pine needles behind it, like that have gotten down in there from a year I did that. And so this is really neat because we're going to be making a really fun kind of a living garland, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna dive right in and look at the supplies you need for this.
Okay.
So this is gonna be a little bit different. It's a little more involved than just putting together a flower bouquet because we need something that this is going to get to drink out of all Christmas season.
Right,
Yay.
right. You know, normally a garland can be built on just a cord, and that's really great if you're doing it on your porch or stringing it along your house. A lot of times if we just bring a garland and we put it on the mantle, it's going to be dead in a few days. So we kind of came up with this idea that we would put all of our greenery into a water source so that it will last the whole season long. Ooh. Our basic materials are, first of all, we need some type of a vessel, and this is just a gutter.
Okay.
You know, that we bought at the hardware store, and we bought the two ends to go on it. I love it because you can spray paint it. You know, they have a lot of wonderful spray paints for doing a stone look and stuff like that. But it's Christmas, so white works really, really good.
So as you're talking, I'm thinking, could you go get some of those like disposable tinware things from the grocery store in like loaf pans, and then you could even hot glue gun them together to make them nice and long?
Because your foliage really that we're about to design into here is going to cover all of that.
Okay.
Again, silver looks great, or just any vessel. I think the big thing is, you know, if you have a certain spot in your home that you will like to bring this into every seasonal celebration, that you have that vessel ready to go and you don't have to think about it. You can just gather your wild materials and build your design.
And this is just a piece of
It's just gutters because I wanted it to be low, and it's kind of hard to find something long enough. And a gutter you can cut to the size. You know, if you have a small place that you would like a garland to kind of drape over, you could have something small. If you have a really long table, you could create something long, and really that would be a lot, very impactful when you had your guests over. So
that'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then we're just using simple chicken wire. They used to design with this many coons ago before we came out with floral foam. So we'll be using that.
We're homesteaders. We have chicken wire laying around the place, right?
Yes. And then we're just going to use some waterproof tape to kind of hold that in there. You wouldn't necessarily have to do this because you're not really picking this up, but you can imagine that if we built the whole design, had this in there, and we walked away with it and it all flipped out onto the ground, so that helps hold that in.
And is that something you just get at a floral design shop?
Yeah, it's just waterproof floral tape, super tough. You could get away with electrical tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And use that, and it comes in green and clear if you want to do that.
Perfect.
We'll kind of get started in here, and we harvested, you'll see around us a lot of fun items that we harvested from the wild for this. And we're just going to stick this in. And I'm going to reach down low, and I am lifting up that bottom layer of chicken wire.
Well, you're kind of almost pinching it together.
Yeah, I'm getting it up because if it lies on the surface of this vessel, I need it to grab those stems and hold them in place. And if it doesn't do it, then we have a little bit of a
So you're kind of like folding it, flattening it a little bit, but you're bringing it up?
Yeah, do you see how that's not on the base?
I see,
that's
okay.
Not stuck to
so
the
you
bottom.
don't want the bottom of it on the bottom.
Yeah. As you guys try this at home, it's just, you're gonna notice that if you put that stem in and it doesn't have anything to grab it, it's just gonna flop to the side.
Okay,
and
so it's just so that you're putting it through both layers of the chicken wire before it's getting to the bottom.
Yep, and you do need 2 layers to do that. You absolutely do. Okay, that's gonna hold it in. And here's one thing, I don't put water in my vessel until I have this tape down, because if there's water on it, then the tape isn't gonna stick.
Okay.
So it has to be really dry.
Okay, so start dry.
Yeah, so super simple. We have a base here, and we're just gonna add water. And I do try to add water with the floral preservative in it because, you know, it's gonna be in the house for a while. You will be able to change the water on this by just taking it over to your sink, tilting it on its side, and flushing water through it with your faucet.
And we were talking about a homemade flower preservative that we could make at home earlier. And I will put that up right here.
Right, yeah, just using some bleach, sugar, and something to make the water more acidic, which is lemon juice or vinegar. Perfect. You guys, I forgot to mention that for this gutter garden, I just used this Lexel clear silicone that you would go around windows or doors with to make it waterproof.
That's good, because you don't want it all to leak out on the dining room table.
No.
That won't
and
work.
even if in time, if that broke, you could just reseal it. So
Oh,
I want
perfect.
to add that detail.
Great.
All right, so here we go. I still am gonna give a cut to every stem because I harvested these a while ago. When you're harvesting your flowers and stuff like that, if this sits out in air, this will dry over. And so now it cannot take up water. So to allow it to take up water, I need to cut that end off.
Do you have to cut very much?
Not very much, no.
Just a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
And we are going to just build a garland. Let's build, since you're there, Carolyn,
Okay.
and we're working together on this, we're just gonna kind of stick in, I'll have to lay some down on this side, and you'll
Okay.
lay some down on that side, and then we're just gonna kind of build it. We'll start with some cedar.
Okay. And this is literally just stuff that you could go walk around the property, find whatever you had kind of on hand.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, I
To trim
think
the end. Don't forget to trim the end.
that's the fun part, is you can just grab your kids and make a day of it, make hot cocoa and come back to the hot cocoa while you've all gone out and harvested some beautiful foliages and evergreens from the forest.
So I can see right off, like you've got to get it under both
Right,
of
so
those.
yeah, you're noticing
Okay.
that chicken wire. We
Right.
had to have it on the bottom.
Okay.
We're just gonna green it up. This is what kind of what you call greening up. And we're covering mechanics. When we do this, you can use bigger pieces to drape over if you want. And in the end, we want to make sure that we're not really seeing the chicken wire. See, okay, here's a great bent piece, okay? So if I take this bent piece and I put it in on the side, do you see how that is draping over my vessel? I tell you what, there is nothing better than a bent stem. This is really fast, and it's something totally your kids could help you with too. All of these holiday decorations, I mean, really, isn't that it? Is that you get everybody involved, and
That's what it should be, I think.
Yeah.
That's what it should be about.
yeah, you don't have to buy a bunch of plastic. You can actually get in there and make memories.
Oh yeah, you start finding ones that you're like, oh, that was just right.
Yeah, and you could even, the cedar has a beautiful, I think the back is a beautiful lime green. And if you wanted, maybe I'll put him on the end because then he kind of drapes out like that. But that adds a lot of different texture if you occasionally flip your foliage over and expose the back end.
Now, are you concerned at all about this getting into the water? Do you try
Not
to
with the
strip it?
evergreens.
with the
You know,
evergreens,
I'm not,
right.
I just know that this is something that's gonna be in the house for a few weeks and they're pretty tough, but traditionally you would never want foliage in your water or your vase. I've got a long piece here.
Oh good, perfect, right on the end.
Okay, and you need to like just be a wild
Okay,
child.
okay.
We're gonna go up, we're gonna go out, we're gonna go everywhere.
All right.
Just let it go.
This is not my expertise, in case you can't tell.
But you cannot mess it up.
But this would be really easy, you know, with the kids. I can totally see how this is just really doable. The 2- and 3-year-old could get involved in this, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
That's really fun.
we're just poking. We're just poking till it's pretty.
We're just sticking things in there.
Yep. I'm feeling competitive. Like I've got to get halfway across this. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you're winning. I'm usually competitive, and I'm like,
I'm just thinking, okay, you know, it's a project, and we're gonna get through it, you guys. That's how I work.
uh-huh.
So we have this underlying foundation that we've built just with using one type of floral material. And then we're gonna come back with a different, and I have to say that I think I do design that way. Like I will design with one floral species and then I'll pick other ones. And then at the end, if I feel like, oh, you know, I could use a little more cedar there, then I will have some extra to bring back and put into the design. And with the 2 layers of chicken wire, you can see how I'm going straight in and how it sticks up and has a little dimension there. And you could think about that too, like, do I want it to be more laid out and flat? Is that the look I'm going for? Or do I want to go lots of different ways? And I think the more you do it and the more seasons you walk through and do this, you just begin to understand what you love when you put it in that room.
Here, I'm all worried about, like, yours is more laying that way, mine's laying that way, and we're, you know,
yeah, I think Carolyn's noticed that we definitely have something asymmetrical going on, but I think we can put like a heavier moment
that the focal
here.
point?
Yeah, we'll move this, it'll be a little off center, which I prefer anyways, but we could have built this all one way and it probably would have looked more like a garland, where this might look more like a centerpiece.
If you wanted to put in twinkle lights or something like that, at what stage would you do that? Would you get it all done and then do it, or would you do it like right now?
No, I would start some now and then I would add some more later because it's just fun.
Because it's fun. More lights. I like it.
I think that's a good point, is to put them in now. You could leave it with just cedar. Cedar is beautiful. And it's kind of fluffy. Good. But we are here and this is today and we don't have to control ourselves, so let's not. This is a little bit of Douglas fir and it has that Christmas smell, so we can add that in. And we're just gonna add it in
and you're just gonna go poke it right back through, right where we already were.
Yeah, in different
Fill
spots.
It out.
You definitely want a couple of different textures. It just makes it more interesting. And then challenging yourself to kind of get it up and out there. And you can just keep going. I mean, you don't have to control yourself with this kind of stuff because you're getting it all from the woods, and that's really fun. And I think sometimes, I mean, we talk about a simple life, we talk about that sometimes more is more.
Sometimes it is. Right? And enjoying the abundance of what's around you.
Amen. I feel like, yeah, right. Like, let's go hog wild.
Right.
Like, why slow down?
It doesn't have to be tied to an economic thing.
No.
It doesn't have to be about how much money you
Especially
spend.
when it's your own place, your own stuff.
Yeah. Go back out and get another armful of greens and do some more, right?
That's exciting.
I love that.
I mean, can you imagine just doing this whole garland even in just the holly? That would be
so
but when
pretty.
it's your own place and you're growing your own stuff, you can do that.
Yeah.
Let's go a heavier moment
Heavy right
here.
So kind of
with
swirl
this,
it or something.
One thing I've noticed throughout my lifetime is in floral design and stuff, how everything was like grade A and perfectly placed, perfectly spaced. And I just love that that mold got broke.
Oh, good.
Because I mean,
that's good for people like me.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, let's just enjoy it and have fun with it.
Our basic rule here is that we're creating something, a focal point, basically. And
now
then we
I've
can
got
break
a real
it.
big cluster. Can that like?
You can, if we have to.
Let's break it apart.
Let's edit this branch a little bit so that you can get him down in the water, and we'll use these two pieces somewhere else.
Okay, perfect.
Maybe we'll trail off just a little bit with that. We're gonna really evaluate how a person could really stop here, or we could just keep going. And I think our theme is to just keep going.
Just keep going.
But basically you can see how this is gorgeous. I love the twinkle lights idea. I like twinkle lights. I mean, I realize I'm organic and I mean, and all back to nature, but a little bling, come on, it's just fun. And when you've got kids,
a little sparkle.
Yeah,
That's
you
fun.
have to do blingy things when you have kids.
And this is so easy. I'm really impressed with, like, even my section.
Yeah, I love it.
It actually
wild.
even looks
like you're better than me. I think your side is better because it's just wild, and sometimes I think too much, right?
Ooh, look at that.
And these are all things that were dried on the farm, and so I think like we're visiting the idea of having flowers in our landscape so that you can create designs.
I have so much of stuff that looks like this in the yard right now.
Exactly.
Like even these, this is like roadside, everything.
Yes.
It's all over the place.
You know, I don't know that we'll use these, we're kind of turning, but you could.
Oh, that's
You
fun.
see how we found these? I mean, maybe we should just try this. Maybe you've got that happy moment, and
I love the mosses and the lichens.
yes.
That makes
And I
it
don't
really
even
fun.
mind that that's flowing out like that.
No.
And I could I'm gonna stick it in the water because I can actually get it in there, but this might be something I should have probably, or could wire in.
Okay.
But if you're building this in your house and it's not moving, who cares?
Yeah.
Now we have some of these dried elements that we wildcrafted out just from outside, and we can add those. I like to think in moments like We're gonna try not to polka dot this. Oh, and we could add some pine cones, really.
Oh, that would be perfect right in the middle, right?
And I've got a really honking one here.
Ooh.
I mean, you can see once you've gathered all the different things, we can wire them in, we could hot glue them in.
And if you're just setting this up on your dining room table, you could just set it there too.
Right.
And it's kind of fun because you could keep adding to it. I know around our house about this time of year, people start finding antlers sometimes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You get all sorts of fun things that start poking up. And so it's like, you could just kind of keep adding treasures.
Yeah.
How would you add candles? Because I love that idea too. Can
right.
I just like stick these in here for now?
Yeah, go for it. I would probably add candlesticks on the outside, you know, but if we had foam or you had a candle holder that we could have started with a candle holder in there and pre-planned all of that too. That looks really great. So we could stop there, or we could add just a few drieds. How about?
Okay, so how would you put these in? Is there a problem with poking the dried stems into the water itself?
I mean, they are going to get moist and not hold up, but I think the tops will stay dry and they're going to be great.
Perfect.
They're going to be great.
Methodology to not make it look like a polka dot.
Right, so let's put a happy white moment kind of here.
Okay.
And then we're going to balance a taller one with a few of the smaller ones here.
And what are these? These look like
it's larkspur.
Larkspur, that's what I was wondering.
Dried larkspur.
Okay. This is the moment where I probably like take it from, oh, it's decent, to like, it looks like the kindergarten class made it.
And I'm just going to put in some small grasses here, kind of like if you were walking in the woods or something. Let's get a bit straight up. Yeah, we're trying to not look like a traditional florist.
Okay.
Sorry, traditional florist. If you start to observe how things grow in your garden, it starts to help your design. Yeah, that looks great because larkspur would do that.
This is so much fun.
I love your slide better than mine, but I do that. I always do that. And I'm kind of doing things in and out, low and high. That looks great. I would add a few more. Let's get stronger.
A few more on
and then
white.
Come back with a few shorter ones here.
This is very freeing. This is like, this is just stick it in and see. Because I mean, the worst that happens is I don't like it and I pull it right back out and do it again.
Exactly, and a lot of times you'll just stand back in your home and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna change that up a little bit, and you begin to learn to design with
I think this is like leave commercial Christmas and holidays therapy right here.
Yeah,
because it is, it's like, oh, stick it in, it doesn't work. Let's try it. Do something else. And there really aren't wrong answers here.
No, that is the safe spot. It's a safe place.
It is.
We kind of have two very different looks going on, you know.
It's like this journey from the forest into the garden.
There you go.
Like, I like that.
So let's do a moment here, and then we'll taper off lightly and maybe just have one over here so that we can kind of get them together.
Idea.
And with the grasses, I think I might even grab a few and put them in together so that it has more impact.
Oh, how fun.
And you just don't even have to stop, or you can just keep going. And it looks really, really beautiful.
That would be absolutely amazing on a dining room table.
I mean, it just looks like, who can afford that abundance except someone who is where we are?
Yeah,
you know,
surrounded by it, all by us, and just, you know, using what we have and what's available for us. And I think even if you're in the city, like even if you're not in a yard, even if you don't have access, I mean, you could just go out for a hike and come home with all sorts of fun things. But even around a city lot or a city area, you could go and snip, snip, snip.
There's ditches.
And you could end up with all sorts of things. Oh my goodness, it is so amazing and so much fun and very freeing. And you guys, take advantage of this holiday season. Don't go out and buy stuff. Take the time, go with less, but like, wow. I don't think that's less. One of these counts for a lot
who
right
has
there.
that? It's like massively amazing. And yeah, you did it with something very simple.
And if you want to learn how to make an amazing wreath, we just did a video on that. So check out this video right here.